Good morning. Happy Friday, the last Friday before the first day of school. We've been working really hard. We're very excited for your students to join us either Monday or Tuesday next week. As a reminder, this video is for students that are on the hybrid B option, and they'll be joining us every other day on site, and then the other days they will be doing online instruction. So we're excited about those options for students. This video is going to be a little bit lengthier than general, but I've added all these things onto the email. I just want to go through a kid's day and just let you know the things that we are doing differently here in our building this quarter. To start the day, if your child is taking the bus, just some reminders for that. Masks are required on bus. The buses all have hand sanitizers and stations on the bus for them to use. Seats will be assigned and they will be socially distanced from others. And when the routes are finished, the buses will be all disinfected. So when your child gets on, it'll be onto a clean, disinfected bus. If you drop your child off or if they walk or ride their bike, we're asking that you bring them at 7:30. If you bring them earlier, our staff doesn't show up till 7:30. We have others in the building before then. But we really don't want kids wandering the halls and congregating. We're trying to avoid that. So 7:30 is when we're all here. If it's earlier than that, we generally are not going to the cafeteria like we have in the past. Although if your child is going to eat breakfast, by all means, they go right to the cafeteria and they can have breakfast. So one change is when kids arrive here, they'll go directly to First Mod. And a reminder, class starts at 7:50 this year. So a change from last year. But as students get here from the bus or dropped off or rode their bike or walked, they will go directly to First Mod class. Kids will not be assigned lockers this first quarter, so we are allowing backpacks. So please have your child bring backpack. We'll let them take that through the school day this year. We feel that with our hybrid and 50% or less kids in the building, classrooms and cafeterias can handle a backpack, and we have a place to put those as opposed to a class of 30 with 30 backpacks. We won't be doing that this year, so backpacks will be allowed. When they get to First Mod on Monday or Tuesday, they will get their laptop and charging cord. That's going to be something they'll want to bring with them every day, especially the charger. We know that those batteries won't necessarily last a full day on a charge, so if they have their charger, they can charge that during class. Between classes, we have 5-minute passing time right now, and we're not really calling it passing time. We're just calling it a transition from one class to the next, because kids are expected to go from one class directly to the next one. We'll not be congregating in the pods like we have in the past. Again, we don't want to have all those students congregating together, so we're going to have them go from one point to the next. And this is things we'll talk about on the first and second days of school. Additionally, that 5-minute time is going to give opportunity for kids to wash hands, stagger dismissal times in classes, and clean rooms to prepare for the next group of kids that will be coming in. Also in the hallways, your child will see postings for walking areas, very much like a street signs would be. So walking on the right side, doing as much as we can to single file walk. In the pod areas, we'll be doing roundabouts. So they'll have to leave their class and go to the right and kind of walk around the pod if they have to go to a class that's within the pod. Again, to keep all the direction going the same way. When they get to lunch, again, we've got 2 cafeterias set up. Our main cafeteria will hold about 98 students, and those are all socially distanced. Our 6th grade pod will hold about 45 students, and we won't have anywhere near those for lunch, but that's what our capacities are at this point. So we'll be able to organize students so that they can eat lunch with mask off, obviously, and still keep that social distance of 6 feet or more in cases. Also for lunch, it's going to be free. So this just came out a couple days ago, so lunch is free. We'll only have one option though, In the past, we've had options for kids like salad bar in Maine and like a sandwich bar and so forth. There's going to be one option, so make sure you're checking whatever that option is for the day, and students will get a free lunch with vegetables, fruit, a main, and chocolate or white milk. So they'll be able to get all that as they normally do. And then we dismiss at 2:35, and again, we have no after-school activities, so kids are going to get on the bus and go home, or expected to be picked up in the front or walk or ride their bikes home 2:35 or shortly after. So the main things that we are doing is, first of all, requiring masks. Obviously, I don't have a mask on right now. I'm in my office with the door shut, but generally speaking, I always have it on. All adults, we've done a great job over these 2 weeks of always wearing our masks. We're going to ask the same of students. We're also going to try to get opportunities for kids to go outside, whether it's PE, during lunch, during a class, so they can get a mask break. I understand that it's challenging, but we're going to do our best to keep them on inside because it's required, and then outside we can take those off if we remain distant from each other. We're going to talk a lot about washing hands, using hand sanitizer. We have many stations throughout the building in pods and hallways that they can use. And we'll be disinfecting throughout the classrooms throughout the day as well. One thing you can do is keep your students home if they're not feeling well. If they have a fever, keep them home. If they have any signs or symptoms of any COVID-related respiratory, keep them home. And the great thing with our system now is if your child is home for whatever reason, they can log in and still get the teaching information. So that's going to be a little bit different than we've had in the past, but certainly a good thing. If your child has been exposed to somebody that is tested positive, they need to stay home, and they actually need to stay home for 14 days. But they won't be missing instruction. If they're able to, then they can log into the class. If they're ill and they can't log in, that's a different story, and we can work through that with each individual student. But if they're home and you're keeping them home for precautionary reasons, then feel free to have their students log in. And we'll talk about that those first 2 days of how they can do that. Very excited for kids to be back in the building. It's been 6 long months. Can't wait to see them on Monday and Tuesday. Have a great last weekend before school starts. Take care.